Read in the Parsha how Moshe Rabbeinu was sent to Mitzrayim, to Egypt, to be the Goel, to take the Jews out of Egypt through miracles. And he's given 3 signs to prove that he's the Redeemer. And the Torah tells us, Vayami Na'om, and the people believed. And as a result of this, there was a work stoppage. Paro immediately, he withdraws the straw subsidy. And he demands the same quota of bricks. And the Jewish overseers come and they complain to Paro, we can't survive this. So he says to them, Nirpim atem, nirpim, you're lazy people. The only reason why you're complaining about going out to worship a god in the desert is because you have time on you to think, time on your hands. Therefore, as a result of that, I withdraw the straw, and I demand the same quota of bricks. And if not, you're going to be beaten. Moshe Rabbeinu meets them coming out of Paro, and they say, you're the cause of all our hardship. God should judge you. Moshe immediately says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, why did you bring such hardship upon the people? Why did you send me as your agent? HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Ato tire. Now you will see the redemption, the Gula, but the inference is, but bringing closer to Eretz Yisrael, you will not. You will not see the promised land, Eretz Yisrael. So Rechaim HaKodesh explains, if Moshe was sent as the Goel, why did things have to get worse before they got better? The shibud, the bondage intensified, where it became unbearable. But why? So he states a principle which the Gemara tells us that whenever there's a transition in nature, before the transition takes place, there's always a resistance in nature before that transition takes place. He says, as the Gemara tells us, the end of winter is the coldest part of winter. Because since there's going to be a transition into fall, into spring, therefore there's a resistance before that takes place. The end of summer is the hottest part of the summer for the same reason. Because again, there's a transition within nature. The end of night is the darkest part of night. Before you have dawn and daybreak, there's an intensity of darkness. Because whenever there are changes from one state to another, there's always a resistance before the change takes place. We're about to go from Shibud Lagula to a whole different dimension of reality. We're about to enter into a new phase of existence. We become Dama Nivchar. It's the trek to Sinai. As a result of that change, because as Chazal tell us, the Makos, the plagues were 10 months. Each Mako was for a month. Warning that the actual plague took place. So therefore, before this new level of God's intervention existence takes place, which is the precursor to the Gula, there's this resistance. And therefore, the Shibud has to intensify, the bondage has to intensify before it gets better. This is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's what Moshe didn't understand at this point. And therefore, he asked the question, Lama Rus, Lama Zeh Shlachtoni. So Hashem says, Atotir, if you're asking the question, it's considered a lack of trust. If it's an inappropriate question, you will not see the land. We find that the Maral writes that Miriam, the reason why Miriam was called Miriam comes from the word Morim, bitter. That the most bitter years of the bondage was when Miriam was born. And that's why she was called Miriam, from the word Morim, bitter. They embittered the lives. That was the most intensified level of embitterment. So Maral writes, again, Chazal tell us we had 3 parnosim, we had 3 overseers of Klal Yisrael, Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. Miriam already was the precursor for the Gula. Because when Miriam was born, that already, Gula already was, there were inklings of Gula, although it didn't happen, actualized yet. But that already, that created that momentum, that dynamic, that there should be resistance. Because within the realm of existence, the positive versus the negative, there already was a sense. When we were about to go into Eretz Yisrael to establish ourselves as an Am, to build a Beis Hamikdash or Mishkan, what happened? There's an incident about Balpur. The last year, just about, and nearly it undermined everything. Because again, whenever there's going to be a great leap to another realm and dimension of existence, there's always a resistance. The resistance is going from one level to another, and therefore, and in life, very often we say, Kol hascholos koshos, all beginnings are a great difficulty, because all beginnings, there's always a transitional period, and that transition, since you're going from one state to another, there's always a resistance before that actually takes place.